Okay, I decided to go with the school that hardly anybody talks about, and that school is the UMass Minutemen. Now, UMass had, well, let's just put it this way. They fired their head football coach before the season was even done. They haven't had a winning coach since Don Brown left in 2008 and went to become the defensive coordinator at Maryland. They joined the FBS and yeah, they played in the MAC conference and it was bad. And that's the only way to describe it. It was bad. Uh, let's see here. Don Brown went 43-19. Kevin Morris was there 2009 to 2011. Went 16-17. Charlie Mueller 2-22. Mark Whipple 16-44. Walt Bell 2-23. Alex Miller, interim coach, 0-3. Don Brown came back and only went 6-28. Shane Montgomery 0-2. Now they have John Harrismick. Now, mind you, Don Brown should have been able to, but he didn't have the money. He didn't have nobody wanted to play really for a independent team, and it showed. And now you've got a new coach, John Harrismiak. They've just rejoined the MAC. They weren't in the MAC last year. Um, Harrismiak, defensive coordinator at Rutgers, co-defensive coordinator, safety coach at Minnesota, head coach at Maine. Yeah, he was 20-15 at Maine. Went to the NCAA Division One semifinal. This is a team that needs somebody that can turn them around. Now they're going to have a little bit better choices when it comes to football, but this is a team that nobody really is going to give a shot. So let's get into it.
Hey folks, this is Paul with Redneck Sports. I want to thank you for viewing my video, and I want to give you one thought process. There was a famous coach at the University of Tennessee by the name of General Robert Nealon. He had 6 maxims, but number 2 maxim is what everybody should apply to their life. Play for and make the breaks. When one comes your way, score. That's how to live your life right there.
Their record, I'm going to look at this here. They started out against Eastern Michigan, 28-14 loss. Toledo, 38-23 loss. Buffalo, 34-3 loss. They played Central Connecticut, a Division II, well, FCS team, 35-31 win. They played Miami of Ohio into overtime, 23-20, which wasn't a bad game. Northern Illinois, 34-20 loss. Mizzou, 45-3. Yeah. Wagner, another FCS team, 35-7. They won. And then the rest of the year was losses. They played Mississippi State, 45-20 loss. They lost their head quarterback, or their QB1. Liberty, 35-34 overtime. Yeah, that one was wild. Georgia, 59-21, of course. And, I mean, at least they were able to get 3 touchdowns and 47-42 against their rival in UConn. Yeah, it was a bad season. That's the only way to talk about it. They don't have the quarterback. He didn't even end the season. He left because of injury. Yeah, this is what they've got. So let's take a look at their offense real quick. Now, for their offense, their leading quarterback was Kazon Bomachan. Okay, I would butcher his name. I probably did butcher his name, but he left with injury, but he was 132 of 234, 56.4 completion rate, threw 8 touchdowns, threw 6 interceptions, got sacked 24 times, had 1,590 yards through the air. A.J. Hairston and Will Perry came in. Ahmad Austin had a little bit of time in there. Now, Hairston had 5 touchdowns, no interceptions. Will Perry had a touchdown, no interceptions. 40 of 73 for Hairston, 54.8 completion ratio. Will Perry had 72 yards through the air, 7 of 11. Ahmad Austin, 88.9 with 8 of 9. So you've got a few quarterbacks that are showing some promise. Jalen John rushed for 583 yards, leading rusher, 111 carries, had 5 touchdowns. C.J. Hester, 119 carries, 529 yards, 4 touchdowns. Uh, the guy that I don't want to butcher his last name, Tazon, 107 carries, 3 touchdowns. He had 317 yards. Brandon Campbell, 64 and 3, had 239 yards. Had a few other guys that had touchdowns here and there. Had 18 rushing touchdowns overall. Jacoby Keeney James, wide receiver, 839 yards, had 6 touchdowns. T.Y. Harding, 5 touchdowns, 19 receptions, 14 receiving touchdowns. This is a. They had a few signs of decency. Um, Jalen John, probably considering who he was going up against, and Jacoby Keeney James, both are people that should be looked at. They probably will be looked at. Not a lot of weapons on offense. They had some dudes. They were playing decent football, but it's an offense that is going to have to step up now into a whole different level of football. Now, as for the defense, Jalen Stewart, a linebacker, had 77 tackles. Tariq Powell had 2 interceptions. Luce Julian had 5 sacks. Kofi Asair had 3 sacks. They weren't getting. They got to the quarterback on occasion, but you're looking at 16 sacks on the year. They had Jalen Stewart had 77 tackles. Grell Johnson 74. Tyler Rudolph 61, and Tariq Powell had 52. Um, They actually had a few interceptions. Had 6 interceptions. That's not bad. None of them were returned. Forced fumbles, had 5 forced fumbles. As a defensive unit, they weren't bad. They were doing their job. Just hopefully they've got a new coaching staff. I would say that Pete Dudzinski He's going. He's from Arizona. They got a defensive line coach from Boston College. They got their work cut out for them. They really do. This isn't like they had a bad defense considering who they were going up against, but this is not a MAC level defense in any way, shape, or form. But they need to learn that. Okay, I'm going to say this. Massachusetts has been the easy win for far too long. They're wanting to not be that easy win. They've brought in people. I mean, Shane Montgomery has been brought in from ECU. He was an offensive analyst. He's been brought in as offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach. Damian Mincy brought in from Albany for for run game coordinator and running back. He was previously wide receivers at Albany. Matt Zanolato, wide receivers coach. He was at D2 Saginaw Valley State as wide receivers coach. Tight ends coach. Well, Matt Lehman, he's been there for a little while, since 2019. Offensive line, Alex Miller, he was brought in from New Hampshire. I mean, they're keeping some of the same people. Probably need to switch out some folks. Director of Strength and Conditioning, Scott McLafferty, he was brought in from Colorado State. This dude needs to be leaned on heavily. This isn't a team that is used to that good an outlook. I mean, you're looking at, they've got current NFL players. They've got 5 current NFL players, and you're talking about cornerback, offensive tackles, and linebacker. That's it. They've not had Victor Cruz is their last NFL All Pro and Pro Bowlers, and that was 2011, 2012. This is a team that, you know, this this coming season. Yeah, let's take a look at this coming season. This coming season, they don't have a lot of time to get off the ground. They've got to go. They got to play Temple. Temple's coming to them. They're playing FCS Bryant. Then they're at Iowa, which Iowa chose them because, well, they're going to need a win. They're at Mizzou. That's not even. This is a Mizzou that, yeah. Western Michigan. That one's probably not going to be a win, even though Western Michigan's coming to them. They're going to Kent State. That is a possible win. That is probably, at this point, they're going to have 2 wins. Bryant and Kent State. Buffalo, not even. Buffalo, Central Michigan, Akron, Northern Illinois, Ohio, and Bowling Green. You've got 2, and I don't see Bowling Green. Bowling Green will be rolling by that point. Eddie George is going to want to have a good offense. Knows how to coach. Saw what he did at Tennessee State. I don't see really, maybe Akron. They I don't see them having really a good year. That's the sad part about it. This is a team that is going to need to have something. I'd say the Kent State game is going to be the only game that they are going to have that is an FBS team that is going to be a chance for them. But it'll be a learning season, plus they'll be getting used to a conference again, and they need to stay in the conference. That's the only way to put it. They need to stay in the conference. But I thought I'd bring you a little bit of knowledge about the UMass football team. This has been Paul with Redneck Sports. Y'all have a good day now. Bye.
I want to thank you for watching my video. And if you like what you saw, like, subscribe, and comment. Y'all have a good day now.